Welcome back. Episode 25. And to say I've been excited for the past week and a half is a complete understatement. Someone that I've looked up to from the beginning when I started my barbecue journey is on with us tonight. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I'm just going to get right into it. Our guest today isn't just a pitmaster. He's a culinary force who has brought the authentic flavors of Texas barbecue to California and well beyond. From his acclaimed Bloodsoul's barbecue restaurants in Los Angeles to his appearances on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, Bar Rescue, Fire Masters, Barbecue Brawl, and the host and one of the judges on Netflix hit show Barbecue Showdown, Kevin has established himself as a leading voice in the world of smoked meats. With deep family roots in Texas barbecue traditions and a passion for sharing his craft, Kevin's journey is a testament to dedication, flavor, perseverance, and the power of good food to bring all people together. We welcome with honor a James Beard Award winner and two-time Steve Harvey Hoodie Award winner. I'm going to say Byron Mixon might be mad at me, but I don't care. The king of barbecue himself, Mr. Kevin Bloodsoul. Welcome, Mr. Bloodsoul.
What's up, fellas? Glad to be here. We ain't worried if Myron's upset.
So we are just, like I told everyone knows we're four teachers at the same school, and we have been buzzing the past 2 days. Couldn't wait for this opportunity. I had my students Googling you and learning about you today, and I'm like just so happy. So just thank you so much for taking time out of your extremely busy schedule, Kev. And we're going to rock and roll with questions, and can't wait to hear your story. So take it away, Colin. I think you're up first.
Yeah. Hey, Kev, Colin Sheehan here. Nice to meet you. Super excited to have you on. Just kind of before I ask the question, when I first started smoking meats, I told my wife I had to watch film. So I watched Barbecue Showdown and saw you on there. I was like, this Kevin Bloodsoul guy seems pretty cool. Like, we should try to get him on the podcast. But that was one of my introductions to it.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, with that being said, we all have our story, and it's unique to all of us with what got us into barbecue. So can you kind of share yours and what drew you to barbecue and kind of how you developed your styles and stuff like that, please?
I mean, mainly just right quick, just, like I said, I'm born and raised in Compton, and I would come to Texas every summer, and my granny had a small little juke joint in Corsicana, Texas. So, I was like 9 years old working with her and not knowing what she was teaching me. I always say, I always go to the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. Granny used to say barbecue sauce on or barbecue sauce on the side, and but she was teaching me something that I could use forever. And my granny was so smart because, like I said, I was a little, I want to use profanity. I guess y'all gonna have kids watching, but I was a little bad little boy. My granny used to say, excuse me, I was too much of an asshole to work for anybody. And she used to say, you have to get your own business, and she was right, but Granny used to always say you got to have a legal hustle. You got to have things to fall back on. And when things got tough for me, way early in the game, I leaned back on what I knew how to do. And that was cook and DJ. I DJ too. So at a time in my life, way before Bloodsoul's, I was DJing parties and catering picnics and all that. And that's how Bloodsoul's came about. I never thought I would be in that kitchen 100 and something degrees in the summertime with my uncles. And that was their job. And I was like, no, I ain't never doing that. I'm never going into food service. And bam, never say never, because look what happened.
Oh, that's awesome.
I have our next question here. Just thinking about like competition. I mean, it's unpredictable. It's unforgiving when you're in the moment. Just kind of wondering, like, what are some of your biggest challenges and how do you adapt to those things in real time?
I mean, I did competition early and it was mostly local. I wasn't a big competition guy because, I'm more retail with it. But like I said, competition, one thing I tell people about competition is you going for different judges different times. So all you can do, you might think you made something bad that one time because that just wasn't that judge's style. If you know what you like you guys got a good circle of friends, and you guys cooking for it. If all 4 of y'all say that barbecue is good to somebody that's competing, then that person needs to stick with what they're doing, and eventually he'll get the type of judges she'll get the kind of judges that respect what he does. A lot of people keep changing and keep changing and keep changing and keep changing, and that's why they never win. So I do know that much. If you got a good product and it's good, just understand that the competition circuit is all about judges and what they taste are. They can still go with the format of the, appearance, texture, and all that, but still everybody got their taste of what they like. So if you know it's good and you got a good crew around you telling you it's good, keep doing what you're doing. Eventually you're going to get in one of those competitions, you're going to win, or at least get a call up.
So kind of know your audience, but also just be confident and go with it.
Go with it. Because if you keep, if you keep changing, then what are you perfecting?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you keep changing week to week or competition to competition, then what are you perfecting? You're not perfect. Every week you're doing something new because you're watching what everybody else do, and everybody who's won just stuck with what they did and stuck with what they know how to do, and eventually they know they're gonna bring home some money one day.
Right.
Okay.
Nice.
It's a valid point.
That's good advice.
Yeah. All right. I do got to, before I ask a question, I got to preface. I was a little nervous for this. And my barometer is, this is the first guest that we've had that my wife knows who you are. Before we we watch we watch Bar Rescue, and I'm like, we're interviewing Kevin Bledsoe, and she said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, Kevin Bledsoe." And I go, "I think he's a Cowboys fan." And she goes, "Oh, that'll be good."
For life. My youngest son is named Dallas.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I actually got not getting off set, but I actually got a new Bar Rescue episode airing May 18th. So y'all lock that in a couple of weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll be tuning in for sure.
Yeah, we will be.
In fact, it's one I did in Michigan too. I did it in Detroit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right, so
we actually.
Go ahead, Z.
We actually had one in Wisconsin here this summer. I was hoping you were going to be there. It was Spike Matheson was there though.
Oh, Spike was there. Okay, it's so hard now because schedules conflict so much. But at least now, John, they'll give me a call early enough so I can lock it in. Because like I say, my schedule this summer, I'm only home. How many days this summer, man? About 19 days this summer. So summer is barbecue season. So you got to be on the road doing what you do.
Yeah.
You know what we got to do? We got to get Parker John's Barbecue to do a Bar Rescue.
There you go.
Yeah.
That would be seal the deal for him coming, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Tell them to write it in. Right in, Yeah. I mean, but I hope not. You hope not, because it's for places that are really struggling.
Yeah, and they're pretty solid right now. They're doing pretty well. So
all right.
Well, they don't need it.
Yeah.
All right, here's my question. So I'm a big meat guy. I love meat, but there's definitely this rise in vegetarian barbecue, right? And even this thing that I go to is called the Grill Masters with my family. People have been bringing new vegetarian barbecue options. So I guess, what are your thoughts on that and the increasing popularity of the smoked vegetables or vegetarian options? And how do you approach creating them?
Yeah, I'm not, for me, when vegetarian restaurants start doing meat options, then I do vegetarian options. Like I said, I have chefs that perfect barbecue, and that I don't have anybody that perfects vegetarian dishes. You understand what I mean? So I don't want to slight nobody. I always want to give somebody the best of what they want, and I just don't feel like you want to come to Bledsoe's, a barbecue meat restaurant, looking for a vegetarian option because you want to go to the best vegetarian option you can get. And you're not going to get that at my restaurant. I'm not even going to front that you'll get it there, and I don't have nothing against it and whatever, but that's just, like I say, barbecue for me, is meat. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like when people do other things and grilling vegetables, which I do. But as far as the option, I just don't see that happening. And most of my restaurants are in LA and Hollywood. So, that is probably the capital of vegan vegetarians and all that, and they don't sweat us, and we don't sweat. We ain't got no beef with them, and they ain't got no beef with us, so we good.
I think that's actually a test question, and if a guest ever answers, in the affirmative, we just end the interview.
Yeah.
gas.
Yeah. So, Kev, what is the, with the cameras going on a lot, we see a lot of things, but a lot of times, and this has been a great question for our guest, like Tina Cannon had a great answer for that. Everyone does, what is the one thing that amateur, like pitmasters like us, don't see on social media or TV shows or videos when it comes to barbecue or barbecue shows?
The long hours, man, the hours, because you putting, okay, an episode of Barbecue Showdown. Sometimes we're on set at 6 a.m. and we don't leave set till midnight, And let me tell you, we being the judges, we got it made. We go in and out, we do what we do, we get back to the trailer. But those contestants are cooking, stressing, crying, and trying to put out the best thing. And somebody like me who's sitting in the trailer and probably having a couple of cognacs and coming out and judging your food. It's just some long days, and then it's real stressful, man. And everybody cooks, so no matter what, when somebody judging your food, you feel a certain kind of way. So imagine being out there and you got 3 or 4 days in a row without an off day, and you're cooking like that. They don't see that part. They don't see the stress and how hard they work to get a good product to the judges and to look good on TV and all that. It's some very long hours, man, and people don't see that. They don't see the stress. They see the tears a lot of times because they want to, producers want to capture that, but they just don't see the long hours,
Yeah, that sounds absolutely exhausting, but yeah, something you wouldn't think about.
It is, for real. It is. It's exhausting to watch them. That's why I try to light with them and laugh and have a good time, because they be having some long days, man.
Stressful, yes, for sure. All right, I've got our next question. So what types of woods do you like to smoke with, and why? Or does it kind of depend on what you're cooking for the day or what kind of meat you got?
I mean, it kind of does, but I'm still old school. It's like what's close to me. In California, we do a lot of red oak, so it's mostly red oak and pecan. I live in Texas now, so I can get all the post oak and mesquite and pecan. I love. I mean, I just buy wood now just to buy wood because it's cheap, But I'm still old school. I still like to, like I say, start off with some mesquite and then mellow it out with some post oak and some pecan. I'm still with it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the way I was raised, and that's the way I still do it. I'm not as hard. I might start off with one log of mesquite on some ribs, some pork ribs, and then blend it out with post oak and pecan. But on my beef, I'm going hard with mesquite at the beginning. Then I'm coming hard again with post oak. Then I mellow it out with pecan before I wrap my briskets or my my Donald ribs and all that, because they can take it, but a lot of times it's what's prevalent in your area. I tell people that all the time. A lot of places are hickory, Georgia, of course, peachwood, whatever's in your area, that's good. That's what you got to get down with.
So do you layer flavors in your smoke? Did I hear that right?
Oh, yeah. You gotta. That's one of the secrets to me. You gotta blend it. Like I can't do a whole smoke of brisket with mesquite. It is just too rough on it. But like I say, if you get a pork rib that has that hint of mesquite, because pork can't take mesquite all the way through, no way. But if you have that hint of that, ooh, damn, I got that mesquite bite. That's what makes an incredible pork rib, and that's what I do.
I love to hear it. I love mesquite, but it gets harsh if you use it too hard. Too much.
You gotta be real. It can start, because when you first put brisket on or something like that, that first wood that it's getting, that's going to be the main flavor on that meat. So you got to remember that. And then, like I said, so I hit it hard with mesquite at the beginning, but then I come back with post oak, which is pungent too. But then, like I say, I mellow it out with the pecan and all that, and it catches up. It mellows out the mesquite in the long run, and it catches up. But if you can layer your woods and all that, I'm a big fan of layering that.
Nice.
Oof,
nice.
That's good.
All right. Our next question: who are some of the pitmasters that you follow, and why?
Oh man, that's a lot. I mean, Leanne Whippen, of course, who y'all just had on.
Yeah.
Just seen my boy Big Mo. It's so many. I mean, everybody from all the showdowns and barbecue brawl. Of course, Rashid is my, my barbecue son. Tuffy Stone is somebody I look up to. I mean, it's I can't. It's not even fair for me to name it because, like I said, I'm still a fan of. I'm still a fan of barbecue, and I'm still a fan of so many people. I mean, a fan of a lot of new people coming in. I say all the time, you ain't got to be older than me to be my OG. I like a lot of the younger guys coming in. I follow them, So it's just too many because that's what I'm saying. You have to be to have some longevity in this. You have to still be a fan of what you're doing. You have to still be a fan of that next generation that's coming in. And I love the next generation. My guy Kareem from the show, Happy, Shatika. I mean, of course, Auntie Delilah. There's so many I can't even name. People gonna get it. It's so many. If you look at, I follow so many different people. So
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
That's actually a good kickoff to the next question, I feel. How do you balance tradition with innovation in your cooking? And are there any, traditional barbecue techniques you've adapted or modernized, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I don't knock what somebody's coming in doing. My whole thing is you can do barbecue the way you want to do it. Just don't do no bad barbecue. I'm not going. It's not putting too many new things. I mean, if it's something that can make it a little easier, yeah, I'm gonna look at that, whatever. But I'm old school. I'm not one of those older people like you see a lot of older people trying to chase the youngsters and be cool with the youngsters. I'm from Compton back in the day when we tried to be like the OGs back in the day. A lot of older people now want to be like the youngsters. I ain't skinny jeaning or none of that type of stuff like that. I'm happy with my age and I'm happy with what I cook. But then a lot of people don't want to give the younger people credit that's coming in with things that they doing, brand, like you say, new innovations and all that. I have no problem with it. Do your thing. If it's good, I'm rolling with you.
That might be the quote of so far ever, best quote ever for Super Smoke Bros. I ain't wearing no skinny jeans.
Like I said, I'm a big music guy. My kids are a big music guy. I mean, my mother and them was on me about my music, and I never got on my kids about their music. It's not what I roll to, but that's what y'all roll to. That's cool. I don't never knock what nobody doing. Never. I don't, as long as it's positive and whatever. I'm not knocking what you're doing. Like our way might have been the best way for us. The next generation, their way might be the best way for them. But no matter what, as long as it's hard work, there's still no secret recipe to it. It's hard work. It's long hours. It's blood, sweat, and tears. As long as you're doing all that, no matter what generation or how innovating you getting, you're going to get there with it,
Yep, definitely.
That's great.
That was great. That was awesome. Geez, so I lost my place. I'm so excited.
So Z and I play music for the kids coming in every morning, and it's just a variety. It's all over the place. And this morning we were rocking, old school Notorious B.I.G. So it's kind of cool to see the guys, all the young kids bouncing around a little bit, like, find some commonality.
I still wake up when I got a big cook or I'm going if I'm going on a big show, like I was on Jimmy Kimmel last year, I'm in my room and like my manager will put everybody out. What song you rocking to before you go on stage? And I'm gonna bust something on there that I'm gonna be ready to go on stage to go. Like I say, music is everything. I wake up to it, I go to bed to it, and I always listen to something motivating and positive to get me ready for whatever I'm doing on that day. And that has never changed. That's back from playing football back in the day and all that. I still play music when I get up and to motivate me on what I got to do. And if it's a big day or a big show or a big gig, I'm going to play some music before I go out to get my mindset right. And it might be some West Coast rap. It might be some jazz. If it's Sunday, it might be some gospel. It might be whatever, but it's going to be something to get my mind right.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. So Kev, I know you probably have a lot, but what is there one very memorable or challenging barbecue experience that you've had, and if did you learn anything from it or become better from it?
Oh yeah, when you first start off, you're gonna F up some stuff, man. You're gonna.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I remember I had this big catering job. In fact, and it was so horrible. It was for this was way before Bloodsoes, and it was way before when I was first starting. And I had a catering job for my mom's job and it was only for like 75 people, but things got away. I was trying to do it just me and another person. Things kind of got away. We was real late with it. Moms was talking all kind of smack and all that. And like I said, it's no such thing as a mistake if you learn from it, you know. So I took notes, and I remember I called my granny. I was all upset. She was like, "Boy, you can't do this. Don't never take a job, bid on a job that you know you can't do, because you only got one time to make a first impression, you know." But it's no such thing as a mistake if you learn from it, because you're gonna bump your head. You know, I remember I had was gonna work for this lady in LA who was opening up a barbecue place. I'm not gonna say her name or whatever, but and I was struggling then, you know, and so I kept going to LA to do these things with her as she opened up, and she never paid me, you know. So then finally, but people were loving the food and all that. I'm driving all the way from Compton to Hollywood, way back in the day. And then so finally one day I said, I can't do it no more. And I just stood her up on something. And then she called, "You're supposed to be at so-and-so." I said, "I'm not coming." "You couldn't call me?" I said, "No, I couldn't call you." I said, "Because I've been coming for almost 8 or 9 events, and you haven't even offered me gas money. So I'm just giving you, giving you a little piece of what you're doing to me." "Oh my God, I'm going to resume my search for my pit master." I said, "Fine, do it." And to this day, when I seen her husband, because she had me, because she was promising $50,000 a year and whatever, and she had me, and her husband said to this day, she said, "Wow, I had Kevin Bledsoe and effed over him," you know, because she did. And all she had to do, and I understand when you first starting and whatever, but like, man, hey, can I give you some gas money? Can I give you this? Can I give you that? You know, and that's why I say you got to always do right by folks, you know, because I was right there but everything, like I said, y'all teachers, so you tell kids everything is still a learning experience. That wasn't right for me at the time. You know, that wasn't right. Like I say, the man had bigger and better things, but it was still a lesson learned. Just like another one, I used to bartend at a bar in Compton, and one of my biggest mentors, Mo, Italian guy, cool as hell. And I was bartending, and the bar, the restaurant was struggling. So I did a couple of pop-ups there way back in the day, and we would turn it every time I do barbecue. So people would come in the restaurant looking for barbecue. It was like, no, it's not all the time. But when I say a lesson, the guy was struggling, electricity getting cut off and all that kind of stuff. And Mo was the manager. And they missed payday one time. And Mo quit, and I couldn't understand why Mo quit. And I didn't even talk to him for like 2 weeks. And he called me up, and he said, "Man, I want to come take you to lunch." And I said, "Cool." I said, "Mo, how can you just walk away like that? I thought we was cool." He said, "Man, we'll always be cool." He said, "But look at me, man. Look at you. You at the time, you 6'3", 240 pounds, all muscle." Mo said, "Mo, man," he said, "I'm 4 foot nothing, 125 pounds." He said, "The only thing I got from you that you respect me is payroll." And he said, "Once you miss payroll, that's it. You can never get that back." He said, "You can never get it back, and the respect goes right out the window." And he said he'd never seen a restaurant that made it that missed payroll. So that's what I would always say, even when I started. If I don't have to take no money, I'm going to make sure they get paid. And that's what I'm saying. When you have to learn, when you teach kids at a young age to learn from a negative, because it's hard to tell a kid at 18 or 17 that they're going to learn from this. And years later, it's going to come back. Damn, I remember that. That's why I'm going to handle this in this kind of way. But they realize that. My kids will come tell me now, "Dang, Daddy, I didn't even think about, but when you said this and that, but yeah, I've been trying to tell your ass, just listen." I went down there. My granny used to say, "I went down that alley for you and told you it was glass. You're going to get a flat tire. So why are you making that right going down that alley? If you just listen to just a little bit of what I got to say, your life will get a whole lot easier."
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, well said.
Looking like a true teacher.
Yeah, maybe you should become and be a guest teacher next time you're up in the Midwest here.
So
you ever want to swap?
That's a whole nother story.
All right. So earlier you kind of touched on what got you into it, and you mentioned that you never thought you would even be in the food industry, let alone where you are now. But did you ever, when you first started, imagine that you would kind of get to the place you are now, and think that you would actually inspire so many people to get into barbecue? And how does that make you feel? What does it mean?
I mean, it's an incredible feeling. But like I say, I I had good people around me, and I was so lucky to start when I started, because that's when food TV was getting big. That's when Yelp was getting big. I mean, I'm the first one who wrote the first review of blood cells when I thought we were ready. I went on Chowhound. Hey, you ever heard this place? Compton called Blood Cell. I had a fake name and all that. And my guy, Tony Child, who hates when I give him credit, he was like, man, don't say nothing about that place. I love that place and I don't want it to blow up, whatever. But he helped with that. And then as time goes, when I first opened this legendary barbecue places in LA, Woody's and Phillips, and I just wanted to be as good as Woody's and Phillips. That's all I wanted, and never thought. And then not that I didn't dream or whatever, and I don't even call it dream. I call it work dreams, like a workcation and a work dream. You working towards that dream coming true, because like I say, if you just dream and then you sleep, work dream mean you up working that dream every single day and making that dream become reality. And like I say, it'll come and it's just levels and levels and you got to always stay hungry. I'm still hungry. Like I go in every decade of my life to make it better than my last decade. Every time, like I tell my kids, you always want to live and say, so you don't have to say, I wish I was 30 again. I wish I was 40 again. So now I'm 60. I don't have to say my 50s was incredible, my 40s. So now what can I do in my 60s? So if I'm blessed to get into my 70s, so I don't have to say, I wish I was 60 again. And that's the way I live.
Awesome.
Great piece of advice. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's yours. Especially with kids, because they have to know they so hard-headed and they don't know. We've been there. And like I told one of my nephews the other day, man, I remember my first day of kindergarten, because I just had my 60th birthday party in St. Martin. It was incredible. Had friends that came that we've been friends since kindergarten. And we told the story about this dude. I ain't gonna say his name, D. But I said, man, the first day of school, and this dude always in a motorcycle gang later on. But every time I look at him, I just remember the first day of school in kindergarten, he fell out on the middle of the floor and fell out and started crying. And I remember my mother stooped down and told me, you better not do no shit like that. And that was the first day of kindergarten. And we still remember that because they think you so far removed from what they're going through. And, no wrong, we know it's a different time or whatever. But they have to know, like, this is just, they can get ready to fail a test and think it's the end of the world. They have to know time is still gonna go. And we sat in them chairs that they sat in, and 20, 30 years from now, I remember, not to get off stuff, but when I got to college and I had a dorm director, Vic, I'm still good friends with him right now. And I never called nobody old because Vic was like 28 and he was the dorm director, but he was still going to school. And I said, damn, Vic, you old as hell. He said, no, I'm not old. He said, I'm older than you. He said, but I'm not old. He said, what are you going to do that you don't get old? And I was like, what you mean? He said, they graduate them every year. He said, they graduate them every year. What are you doing to stay relevant and staying ahead of the next class that's coming out? And that's set in my head, man. That set it's always, you always running because somebody's always chasing you, but it's a positive race. It's a positive race because you're racing to better your life. And kids have to understand that it's every year it's more and more competition coming out. What are you doing to distance yourself or to stand out?
Oh man, guest teacher, motivational speaker.
Yeah.
I just
King of BBQ.
All right, I have the next question. What do you like to prepare that may not be associated with barbecue?
Oh man, I can get down Caribbean, soul food, Italian, Mexican. That's a question for people who came to my house and eating. That's when you guys decide, hey, we're gonna fly out and have dinner with Kev one time. Fried turkeys. I can do, and barbecue has allowed me to go so many places and learn so many other, cultures of food, and that's what I always say too. If you're gonna do another culture of food, do it right. And I love when I cook something and they was like, damn, that's the best I ever had. And it's from their culture. I love that. I'm huge on that. But Caribbean food, I'm big on that. All kind of different things. I love soul food. I love it all, and I love to cook it all. Like, it's so funny. I barely eat anything I cook. Like, I don't go to blood. When I go to blood souls, I may test or whatever. But I can sit up in here and barbecue all day and want a burger or something that night or something. Or somebody else can cook something or something weird. But as long as everybody's enjoying it, whatever. But it's not just barbecue what I do. My mom was a great cook, so I learned a lot of stuff from her. I I like to cook it all, really.
That's great. Just not vegetarian.
Yeah.
I mean, and like I say, that's cool. Like I know some, but I can't understand when I see a vegetarian that's 300 some pounds. Somebody make that make sense,
That was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right. Another kind of related question. What does the barbecue titan Kevin Bledsoe like to do when he's not barbecuing? Just that small window you get when you're not,
chill, like I said, once listen to music. I live on the lake, so I like to fish. I like to be around good friends and family. If it's football season, I like to get mad at the Cowboys. Because football season is the one time, like I tell people, that as solid as we are and as strong as we are, football is the only thing that has that much control of your life that you can't do nothing about. Every Sunday off and whatever, but ain't nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it. But anytime with family and close friends and just, chilling, quiet time. Cause like I tell people, man, I DJ'd and I went years without an off day, so any type of chill time where I can just chill, even like right now, just chilling with y'all, talking about barbecue, having a cocktail and whatever. That's the kind of stuff I live for.
You get in any fantasy football?
Nah, that's too much work. I watch it and I bet on it, and that's it. Only time I bet is during football season. I try to hit them early in the season, because like I say, I'm not it's so crazy. I'm not a huge NFL fan, but I'm a huge Dallas Cowboys fan. Never miss a game, but I don't if it's playoff time, I need to watch somebody that's for us to get in the playoffs or something like that. But I can't watch NFL all day, but I can watch college football all day. I can sit there. And when I was still at Bledsoe's, it goes right back to that. And I couldn't get out the restaurant. I would say, damn, one day I'm going to live in Texas and I'm going to get up and I'm going to watch the first game at noon all the way to the Hawaii game at midnight. And I've done it,
Yeah. That's I'm so similar. I'm huge Lions fan. Yeah. And I watch the Lions and maybe but college football on Saturday, I can do the same thing. I love college football so much.
Yeah, I can watch
security.
Yeah.
So you kind of touched on this through our conversation, Kev. But everyone says that to have good barbecue, you need quality meat, and you talked about your layering of smoke process, and maybe that is the answer to this question. Mm-hmm. But what do you believe is truly the secret to truly great barbecue?
I mean, I feel like good meat is important, but you can make any piece of meat taste good, but you can't make bad meat taste good. Marbling is important. Like I tell people on a brisket or on a steak, you can cook a steak good and whatever. But if you don't have a good steak to start with, like some people, oh no, you can make any piece of meat good. To a certain point, you can, but marbling is such a key, especially on brisket, because if you pick up a brisket and it has a nice fat cap and you turn it over and it's red all the way through and you don't see no white lines, it's going to be hard, because that people always say, oh, fat side up is what I do, but that fat doesn't render too much into that meat. You need some type of fat going through it. So starting it off with that, a good piece of meat, and you can find a good, even in choice, you can still find a good brisket in choice or whatever. But and the main thing is learning your pit. You have to learn your pit. People want to cook all these things and they don't know. Like I got a pit now. I don't know if you guys seen. I have. It's called Blue Bayou. It's the coldest pit around from M&M.
I saw it.
Yeah, it's incredible. I don't know how to cook on it yet, so I have to learn that pit over the next couple of days, because it's going on the road with me this summer. Learn your pit, learn the ins and outs, learn how to cook on that thing like you cook it in the oven. And then once you learn that and get your seasonings down and your rubs, you cannot make bad barbecue. But you got to learn that pit and understand that pit, monitor it, and it has to be consistent. If you're cooking at a consistent temperature, then you're going to make a good product.
That hits home hard, because I always tell this story. It's probably overdrawn out, but my first brisket, I made it. I mean, I could have sold it as beef jerky.
Yeah, we all have.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Learn your pit. That's such a great. And let's think back. Both Brian and I, our students in our welding and fabricating class, made us smokers, offset smokers. And I have mine that I always use, but starting to use it took. I messed my first couple of smokes up because I just didn't know how to use it. You know.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta learn how to do it and then once you learn, though, it was easy though, right?
Oh, now it's easy. I know exactly where to get my airflow and everything, and we're good to go now. So.
Yep.
And like I say, with me, as long as I've been in the game, I got to learn how to cook on this new incredible 29-foot M&M smoker within the next couple of months before I take it on the road. So
yeah.
All right. So you've talked about your upbringing, and obviously you spent a lot of time in California and in Texas, and those are two very different places. So how do you kind of incorporate the different styles of California barbecue and Texas barbecue, or do you try and blend them, or some of each, or how do you kind of handle that?
I mean, mine is more like opening up I mean, I did it the Texas way, but then opening up in LA with certain things. Like my granny mostly had the Texas barbecue gravy, which is, our barbecue sauce. And people would come in and first, that's too thin, what is that? So I had to thicken that up. The chicken that we do is more like the Mexican street chicken with the polo asado seasoning on it, because that's big in LA. And that's mostly it, as far as, because again, it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But and then the rubs, I mean, my brisket is just, of course, garlic, salt, and pepper. But a lot of places in Texas are just straight up salt and pepper on pork. And for me, I just think pork needs some type of sweetness. So my pork shoulder and my ribs have, my blood source pork rub on it. And because I like that crust on my ribs, But that's only really a couple of things that you incorporated. But a lot of people don't give West Coast barbecue credit. And I'll tell the story of Central Avenue coming all the way from South LA, Inglewood, Compton back in the days. Because my dad was LAPD, so he knew all the good spots. But we had everybody's barbecue. Everybody was migrating to LA. So we had Texas barbecue. We had Memphis barbecue. So many different barbecue restaurants back in the day opened up, and we had it all. So I tell people all the time when they try to diss West Coast food, we had it all. You might have had Memphis because you was in Memphis, but I got a chance to taste all the barbecue in LA because, they were migrating there. So a lot of those places were still open when I was coming up, and so we had every type of barbecue in LA back in the day. So I got to try it all without having to get on an airplane,
That sounds great.
Yeah.
So Kev, that brings us to the end of our questions. So what we like to do, what we like to do is we call it the sizzle round. It's kind of a lightning round / story round, I guess. But come to find out, talking to a lot of our listeners, this is their favorite part of the episode when we're talking barbecue with our guests, because they can resonate so well to it. So we'll just take turns asking you questions, and you can have like a quick answer. You can have an explanation with it, or you can, however you want to do it, tell a story with it. It's great. We've had all different ways, but it's definitely, and some of these you've touched on, so they may be repeat questions, and we'll just then move on to the next one. So our sizzle round, Kev.
Let's do it.
All right. So we'll start up. Petey, you're on the clock.
All right. Favorite cut of meat to barbecue?
Ribs, pork ribs. When I go to, I ain't gonna do an explanation on all of them. But people who know me, when I brisket is cool, everything is cool. But when I come to a restaurant, you'd be surprised. I want to try your ribs, and I want to try your sausage. I love sausage. Those are the two things. I want to try everything, but ribs and sausage are my two favorite.
Ironically, that's the first thing I perfected was my rib recipe. That's the one.
I love ribs. I love it. Like when I come to Texas, first thing I wanted was my granny's ribs. And I always wanted her chopped beef sandwich when I first got there with the red hot sauce. But like I said, I want ribs and sausage when I'm first trying a restaurant.
Yes. All right. Favorite rub?
SPGs, just salt, pepper, and garlic.
Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite side to prepare?
my collard greens and potato salad. But my mac and cheese is the bomb too. My baked beans are the bomb. Really, all of them. But for me, the ones I really eat is potato salad and the collard greens.
Favorite dessert, using the pit or not using the pit?
I do not like no damn smoked desserts. I'm sorry, I don't. But my favorite one is a blackberry cobbler, a peach cobbler with a bluebell vanilla ice cream, hot.
There we go. Preferred smoker or grill?
M&M all day. M&M smoker. My guy Mike and Madden, Bettina, them down there, they putting out some incredible products. They blessed me with a backyard smoker. That's the most incredible, even cooking backyard smoker I ever had in my life.
Preferred smoking temperature?
250, between 230 and 250. Low and slow like a 6'4", baby. That's how I get out.
You already mentioned this, but just to recap, preferred wood to smoke with?
Pecan, post oak, and mesquite.
All right. A pitmaster you enjoy working with?
Oh man, come on, all of them.
All of them.
I work with them all, but like I said, when you still fan with people here, and I got a chance to do a show with Tuffy and his discipline and his knowledge, because I got a lot of people don't understand. He is a classically trained chef, French trained chef, and so cool, so down to earth. So many of them. But like I said, if I had to say that I worked with was it was Tuffy.
Awesome.
Favorite streaming stations or music to listen to when you're barbecuing?
Spotify, just my playlist on Spotify. Old school, R&B, slow jams, West Coast rap, jazz. That's how I get out.
Nice.
All right. And for us in Wisconsin, this is a big question for us. So what's your favorite beverage to hold whilst barbecuing?
I'm a Hennessy guy, so when it's almost over and I'm done, I'm gonna pour me some cognac.
Nice. Awesome. Oh, well, that's our sizzle round, Kev. And that brings us to our end of our interview. And we like to there's a couple of things, but the first thing we like to kind of just give it open to you and anything that you would like to, what's coming up in your world, coming up this summer. Oh, you have one more? Go ahead. Yeah.
Favorite NFL football team?
The world champion, 5-time world champion, Dallas Cowboys. Yes. I'm in too deep. It's nothing I can do about it. It's nothing I can do about it. But I still say, only if you're a New England fan or a Pittsburgh fan, you're the only ones who can talk smack to me. So other than that, it's nothing I can do about it.
I completely understand. When you're in too deep, there's no coming back, and I've been like that.
Hardcore since I was 8 years old. I'm talking about hardcore. Room was Dallas Cowboys, all that. I'm still, just still hardcore to this day. So,
Yep.
Yes.
When I used to cry after every loss, and there was a lot of crying when I was young.
Yeah,
the Lions.
Man. I can't even post the way I want to post because I posted something after last year, and a couple because we actually feed the Cowboys every year in Oxnard, and I posted something.
Really?
I was like, "Really, Kim?" I was like, "Oh shit, I got to take that off." It's like I said, I love it. I look forward to Sundays. Me, my sons, my brother, my brother-in-law. We try to go to opening day every year, the home opener every year. So I look forward to that. So you got to stick with your team. Like you're a Detroit fan, you haven't really seen no good time. So when you do get that good time, it's gonna be incredible. You're gonna you cried over all the bad stuff. You're gonna cry when it happens. Watch.
I know. They won the first playoff game a couple years ago, and I started crying because I remember the last time. It was a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I'm fixing it.
So Kev, would you like to talk about anything that you may have coming up here in your busy summer as summer approaches? And I know you're busy with a lot of different things. Is there anything you'd like to promote or just talk about, and then we'll wrap things up?
Yeah, we do a thing in Compton. This will be our second year called Smoking Out the hub. It's a beautiful event. It's a 2-day event. This year's chefs that we coming down is, of course, Auntie Delilah, Rashid Phillips, the Egyptian Cowboy Kareem, my guy Chuck Flavor Train, Blue Grubby Blue. I know I'm missing somebody, but we have all these incredible chefs that come to Compton, and we do this event. It's a barbecue event. We do a city versus city barbecue competition. Last year was real huge. All the cities, Compton, Linwood, LA, they all get barbecue teams. A lot of these people never be able to compete on a circuit like that. If you follow it on the Bluxos Smoke Tour, you can see it. But that's a big event that we do every year, and that's July 25th and 26th at the Compton Airport. So I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, just doing some incredible events. The Family Union in Virginia, doing a big old thing in Yosemite, just all everywhere this summer. So just blessed, man. You can catch me somewhere down the road. Me and Blue Bayou, come check us out.
Definitely. We'll have to. The Smoke Bros will have to make an appearance one of these days and enjoy it.
Do that, man. Looking, because we really want a press row at Smoking Out the Hub. So it's a lot of different podcasts that are committed that's coming down to cover that 2-day event. So if you guys want to get in, just give me a call and talk to me.
Well, we may have to. We'll talk off air here. And
we'd love to have you guys.
Yeah, that would be fun. So, well, Kev, the honor has been all ours. Just thank you for your wisdom and just giving us. We know that you didn't have to ever respond to us, and you did, and to give us that opportunity because we follow you and we love you, and you inspire all of us here. These 4 teachers, as 4 guys from Wisconsin. You inspire us, though, and we thank you for everything you've done. And we always end our podcast. We have our guest, our slogan is "Smoke On." And so when you're ready on your own cue, if you wouldn't mind down in our with anything you want to say, you can, and then sign our podcast off today with "Smoke On."
I got you, baby. Keep it low and slow like a 6-4. And smoke on, baby. Let's kill this summer, man. Much love.
Love it.